Survivor Series, What If? I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling.
Man, Survivor Series is upon us. Usually this is kind of the start of the good stuff for WWE, but honestly, they've been cooking all since WrestleMania, so just a continuation.
Great year for wrestling. They've been cooking.
It's been really
that
good.
dope in a crock pot. We mentioned it in our video earlier this week, but just so you guys know, Monday on Twitch will be our first ever watch along live stream for Monday Night Raw. Twitch.com/COD WrestlePod, just like all of our socials. Come watch Raw with us if you want to. Hopefully it's not an absolute technological mess.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We're trying.
If you saw me making that face, it's because a little unsure of it, but we're going to give it a shot.
We'll give it the old college try. But let's get into this. What ifs are just kind of scenarios, fantasy booking scenarios. We do this with every PLE. What if this happens at this PLE? We'll get right into it, though. We're going to start. Damian Priest, Finn Balor. Something that's been hiding. It's been hiding in the dark for the past month while Finn Balor has been not defending his title until this week. And while Damian Priest has been schooling Gunther on the mic for the past 3 weeks on Raw. People are tending to forget that they still hate each other. Finn Balor mentions his name here and there, but Damian Priest, he's on to bigger and brighter things. But last time that Damian Priest fought Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, Mr. Finn Balor made the turn, screwed him over. What if that happens again? What if Finn Balor costs Damian Priest the World Heavyweight Championship again here at Survivor Series?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good shot. I just think that some way, shape, or form, like, I don't know, Finn just kind of can't get over it. It's kind of that thing that just keeps eating at Finn. And even though Finn's kind of got his own stuff to worry about, it doesn't seem to really matter. It's all Damian that kind of eats at him. So I do like the way that they've been building Priest up. At first, I was kind of against it, but once you kind of talked about it, I was like, you know what, this kind of makes a whole lot of sense. There's nothing wrong with losing to Gunther in any way, shape, or form, but I think they're going to try to do that again to help kind of maybe protect that image of Damian a little bit here. I don't know how they do it. Maybe he just comes in and attacks him, and while the ref bump or something, maybe that's what they do. But then eventually, on the flip side, you're going to have Damian cost Finn those tag titles, and maybe that ends up what happens.
Yeah, I mean, do I think this is going to happen? I would say it's more likely than not. I'd lean maybe like 55-45 on it.
60-40 maybe.
I wouldn't go too much of it happening, like guaranteeing it or anything like that. But here's what I would say if it does happen. If it does happen, let's not just do it to where Finn walks in, screws Damian, and then they last time this happened, Damian just accepted the fact that he lost the title and went after Finn. I would rather that not be a thing. This time, if that does happen, I'd rather Damian be like, okay, first off, I want to kill Finn. Second off, I just got screwed out of my title again. And then I want Gunther, because Damian's been talking so much crap, I would want Gunther to be like, no, I want to prove that I can beat Street Trash, right? Like him also have that sort of edge there. And maybe that leads to a triple threat match with these guys, because then you'd have Finn Balor back in the title scene as well, which is kind of where we all have wanted the Judgment Day collapse to end up with, right? Finn being boosted back into a main event scene of some caliber. So that is how I would fantasy book this if it were to happen.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe you get Gunther saying that, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a triple threat on Raw of like a Damian, Finn, Dom.
That would be amazing.
Because Dom did beat Damian originally on the one-on-one.
Dom stacks him and pins him.
And you've got Finn and Dom are kind of at odds, but kind of not yet. But then you have Damian and Finn as well. So maybe that's the way they go, because at the end of the day, I think we both agree Gunther's probably winning this, but I don't know what's after that. Yeah. I think we all assume Finn is for Damian. So what's for Gunther? I think there was a big push for Dom originally to kind of be in this spot a little bit. Now, with the way they've done it, I think it has worked really well. But if maybe some way you have a Finn, Dom, Damian triple threat on Raw, number one contender match, that could really kind of sort out some stuff. And maybe that's the way you go. Maybe Dom just gets an impromptu title shot. Obviously he's not going to win it, but why not?
That would be best case scenario. And then you would have Damian and Finn keep fighting after that, and you'd let Dom go basically be a sheep to Gunther, but he would get a shot, right?
Yeah, I'd exactly.
Be so here
and he could say that, and eventually Finn can lose those tag titles. Finn can lose that match, that feud to Damian. Dom can say, well, I've had a title shot more recently than you have, and you can kind of reignite the Finn and Dom stuff then at that point.
Yeah, totally agree. That'd be awesome. I'm always here for Dirty Dom to get
More Dom screen
titles and tendies. Copyrighted. Not really, but it should be. Our first shirt will be titles and tendies. That'd be awesome, actually. Anyway, there's not much drama or build in terms of the U.S. title and IC title matches here. Absolutely glad we're getting both matches. Not going to complain about that. LA Knight taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. And, of course, Braun in a triple threat match that's going to slap. I'm going to keep on saying that. It's going to be incredible. But like I said, not much in these buildups, right? Shinsuke has attacked a couple times, and I'm sure we'll see a LA Knight rebuttal tonight on SmackDown when this comes out. And then Braun Breaker, they've kind of had their back and forth, but nothing, no meat there really. So the question here is just simply, what if LA Knight or Braun Breaker does drop their titles? One of them.
Yeah, I don't think LA Knight does. Just because I think that feud is still very fresh. I think that's a little too soon for him to be dropping that. I think there's some sort of finish that maybe continues the feud. I think there's a real chance Braun Breaker does it. Would I like that? I don't know. It would kind of just be like a pity thing. We talked about his last reign a little bit with him losing the title to Jay. It was almost a little late in terms of giving Jay the belt, but it was like almost like, well, Jay, you've done so good. You deserve this. Here you go. And the momentum, I felt like maybe didn't get stopped for Braun Breaker because it is Braun Breaker, right?
Oof.
But there was a pause and it was like, oh, okay. And then we hit resume again once he got the belt back.
Yep.
I feel like there's a really solid chance they do that again here. I wouldn't really want that to happen because I feel like he is that next star, and why Triple H loves those long reigns, so why not give him a long reign? But at the same time, he's done it before because they ask him to. Maybe Sheamus gets it, maybe Ludwig gets it, maybe you get a quick drop and then you get some sort of, we always talk about these triple threat feuds. Just keep running a triple threat feud with these three back and forth, and then ultimately have Braun get that title back, and as he heads towards maybe the Rumble, something like that.
My reaction would be simple: too soon. That's all I would say to it if it did happen. The Shinsuke Nakamura stuff, I want him to end up being the champion in that scenario. I think this would be the right guy if they do it right. Give Samurai Nakamura all the titles if that time does come, but this is too soon. It's been 2 weeks of him attacking. I was surprised this match even hit the card. So it's too soon in that aspect. Braun Breaker, like you said, they already ripped it off him for a month with Jey Uso. That felt like the right thing to do given Jay's push, but at the same time, it also felt like, okay, let's get the belt back to Braun and get serious here for a minute. The only way I would kind of be okay with it is, I guess both guys I'd be okay with it in some aspect because I love Ludwig. Mm-hmm. I would still be okay, way too soon, but I do love Ludwig, so I'd be oh, cool. And then Sheamus, we do want to give guys flowers when necessary, and him being a Grand Slam champ would be kind of cool. But I stand by what I say. I would still come out on Monday and be okay, that was too soon. This is just too soon for both of them to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to throw it back in your face, though. You always talk about how there should be some quick title reigns.
There was.
So why not do this one?
We just did with Jey Uso.
Well, do it again.
No, we just did it.
Well, LA Knight's going to have the belt for a while. Yeah. Cody's going to have the belt for a while.
Yeah.
Gunther's going to have the belt for a while.
Yeah.
Liv.
Yeah.
Naya.
Yeah.
They're all going to have the belt for a while. So, unfortunately, it's weird because the IC title is kind of like that the workhorse, right? That workhorse title. And Gunther brings the prestige back and has it for so long. Sammy has it for a good amount. And it seems like now they're
Dark
just
days.
Yeah, now it's just I wouldn't be opposed to them kind of dropping it here or there, just as long as it's done correctly.
I just think some guys demand the time, and Braun's a guy that demands the time. Like Ludwig, if he had the title right now, and we still expected him to have the title for a while, Ludwig's the type of guy that could drop it for a month, get it right back. But Braun, to me, he already dropped it once. If he drops it again, then you're going to start going all right, dude, can you you can't successfully defend these titles? I'm gonna stop barking. I'm gonna start.
That might be what ends up happening. I think more than anything, it's out of these three currently right now, Braun Breaker is head and shoulders above these other two.
Yeah.
And so I think Ludwig needs the belt probably the most in order to help his stock. Then you have Sheamus just to be that Grand Slam champion. And then Braun Breaker, I mean, out of these three, Braun doesn't need the belt. He's already made. You know
I agree.
what I mean?
I agree with that.
So I could see them doing that to where it's just he's already you're already going to cheer for him. You're already going to bark when he comes out.
I mean,
so
Sheamus
why not?
doesn't need the belt either, so you could do Ludwig.
Yeah, the only reason I say Sheamus is just that grand. If not now, when's Sheamus going to get it? You said Braun might not be able to defend a title. Well, Sheamus might not be able to win a title. It's kind of like Chad Gable. Like he's going to be in that range.
Puts on bangers.
He does.
Puts on bangers. You know, in that soliloquy you gave there, that long thing.
What?
I don't know.
Spell that word.
I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned the idea that Nia's going to have that belt for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Is she?
I don't know.
Is she? We got ourselves a War Game match that could be full of hectic stuff, especially because Tiffany Stratton is going to walk into this match with the Money in the Bank briefcase. What? First off, before I ask the question, I just thought about it. You know how you can always, on the War Games match, they always can pick a weapon to go in the ring with? What if she goes in the ring with the Money in the Bank briefcase?
She might.
That would be
like, this is mine.
You know what I'm going to call it? She's going to walk into that ring with the briefcase. She's going to get it out from underneath the ring and go and throw it as a weapon. It's just going to be in the ring.
Or she just carries it with her while she waits. She just holds it and just walks out with it.
She forgets it in the cell. Oh, that'd be cool. Anyway, we're going on a rant here. But we've had to ask the question every PLE what if, because they've done such a good job recently of like actually building suspense for that thing. It's kind of always dangling in front of our face going into every PLE of like they remind us that this thing is still happening. And to counter that in Survivor Series, that's not the case. They have not been dangling the Money in the Bank briefcase in our face at all building up to Survivor Series. So I feel like it's more interesting than ever. What if Tiffany Stratton cashes in her Money in the Bank briefcase at Survivor Series?
Well, not only have they not really done anything to, I guess, kind of show it, right? They haven't really showcased it the way they have before. I mean, what better time than this match when everybody gets laid out and destroyed and everybody's on the mat and Tiffany's the first one to kind of pop up?
Yeah.
I mean, why not try it, right? It just, like, if I had a Money in the Bank briefcase, that's what I would do. I would wait for everybody to be down. I'd be down too. Like, I'd get up. Okay, cool. I'm cashing this in.
Yeah, I mean, she'd have to cash in after the match, though, right? Or else does it turn the War Games match into a 10-woman title match?
That I don't know.
And is it for both belts? Because both champions are in the match? Tiffy 2 belts, baby.
Tiffy cashes in, but then Rhea stacks everybody and wins. Rhea somehow wins everything. I don't know. It's WWE. They kind of make the rules as they go along.
Yeah.
We've never had something like that happen before. They always talk about, or at least early on, nobody's cashed in and failed as a woman. You always get the title when you cash in. Well, to the other side of things, there are so many women in this match that you might try to cash this in. Somebody's going to come diving off the top of the cage and you're done, you know? So I don't want to sit here and say that there's a, like, oh, I'm betting on it. Because every time I say that for every PLE and I look stupid, but I still want to go with the failed cash in, whether that's here, whether that's Saturday night's main event, whether that's Rumble, whenever that is. I want to go with that failed cash in because I still think the storyline of Tiffany and Nia, like Nia being the reason Tiffany cashes in, her being the reason she loses. I still think that storyline is so good that the failed cash in needs to happen.
Yeah, ultimately, no. I'm going to say no, she doesn't cash in here. Because I'm with you. That story needs to be told. And I think that there's already so many other storylines weaving through this War Games match that throwing that on top would just feel almost overwhelming. So maybe next one, maybe Saturday night main event, maybe Royal Rumble, maybe.
I tell you though, if that does happen, I mean this Survivor Series is already shaping up to be one of the better ones. Even though like Cody's not on it, and you can be like, well, how is one of your main champions not on it? And you can say it's one of the better ones. Like the storylines are so good.
Yeah.
Obviously with the Bloodline stuff, especially. So she could do it. It could go down as an all-time Survivor Series.
I agree. This one isn't technically Survivor Series based, but it is going to be it has been a new developing story that has very much affected the War Games match for the women. Okay. And the more I see it online, the more I'm starting to believe in it. The idea of Bianca Belair being the one to attack Jade, the idea of WWE to pull the trigger on a Bianca heel turn is so interesting to me. What if Bianca Belair was the one to attack Jade?
Yeah, originally my first thought was Bayley, but more people I started seeing Bianca. I was like, oh God, now I'm getting it all in my head, and now I'm hoping. Yeah, I mean, the thing is with this, right, is like Bianca can be the one to do it, but you also don't have to really address that anytime soon. So Bianca could still continue to be the same character, act like nothing's wrong. Naomi can slide in and be the co-tag champ, or they could drop the belts if they want to, because depending on however they want to do it. But nothing really happens for Bianca. Nothing really changes until whenever Jade does come back. I think ultimately, I've also heard people potentially saying Naomi was the one that did it. So there's so many guesses out there. Realistically, we're not going to find out the answer to who did it until whenever Jade comes back. And that's anywhere from 3 months to a year. You know, like you said, like she's just going to return sometime at some PLE and we're going to be like, oh my God. And she's going to attack whoever it was. And then maybe like the Raw or SmackDown following, we'll get some backstage footage or something. So ultimately, nothing really changes. It'd be smart for WWE to kind of have it be Bianca. She continues on this run for a little bit and then boom.
It would be incredible. I mean, I'm under the impression that it was either Naomi or Bayley. That's what I think that they're going to do. But man, one of the biggest things in the history of wrestling that never happened, the biggest what if of all, is the John Cena turning heel. And we have been saying for months, and that's just kind of our stance on it, is that Bianca is the John Cena for the women. That's just kind of what she is. She's the role model. She's the all
that's
good.
Bayley. Bayley's the role model.
Yeah. Bianca is the all good. She's what every girl looks up to be. And to have her attack her best friend and turn heel in that way would just be so gold. And it would be the perfect opportunity to get Jade into the main event scene. Like you said, they have months to sit on it and to think and turn, and we're not going to know till Jade comes back. So looking forward to that down the line. That's not Survivor Series based, so we'll move it on, but I had to ask.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, and they kind of preview on Raw, at least, like, ultimately we do obviously think whenever Rhea Ripley's taking that belt off Liv. Well, they kind of showed their hand a little bit, at least, where Bianca and Rhea, I mean, everybody wants to see that anyway. So you could have that happen. You could have Bianca take the belt. Eventually she can have the title and she can be on top of the world, and then all of a sudden, boom. So I think that's such a good story.
Yeah.
Really, you kind of can't go wrong with Bayley, Naomi, or Bianca. Any of those three. I've started to see stuff about Naomi being the one, and I'm like, ooh, that would also be really good.
Dude.
So, because we've never seen heel Naomi either. So
It's been a while since we had one of these stories in WWE.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Who done it?
Who done it? Old Teddy Long, SmackDown vs. Raw days. That was a good storyline, man. They hit Teddy with the car. How dare they? We'll do one more. Here.
What if it was Rikishi?
He did it for The Rock. He had nothing to do with The Rock. We are coming up on the match that everybody has been. I mean, this was the only guaranteed match that we knew was going to come down the line the second WrestleMania ended. We're like, okay, look forward to this year of wrestling. What are we going to book here? Well, I have no idea, except I know there's going to be a Bloodline Civil War, and that Civil War is going to take place inside of a War Games at some point in Survivor Series. Now we're here, and it's so good. And we got CM Punk randomly in there. We got Bronson Reed randomly in there, and it's like, okay, whatever. Throw whatever at me. I'm down. Let's do this thing. But oh, man, Paul Heyman came back. He was wearing the Solo Sikoa outfit. Jimmy was winking at him. They're winking back at each other. Jimmy is now so behind Paul Heyman at Raw. He's saying, yeah, he's the wise man. Woohoo. What if Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso turn on the OG Bloodline at Survivor Series?
I'm really starting to think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think some way, shape, or form, like, I don't know, you line these two teams up and you look at them, and like OG Bloodline, I would say, has the upper hand when you just lay the teams out there. I mean, you got Roman Reigns and Tonga Loa, they're pretty even. But after that, you know, OG Bloodline kind of takes the cake. So OG Bloodline is kind of far superior. You need something to kind of tip it in their into their favor, I should say. There's got to be something. You got to get some sort of storyline out of this. We continue to say, and people online continue to be like, what about Zilla? What about this person? What about this person? Like, there's so many possibilities of more members to come in. Nobody thinks this is it on members. Everybody thinks that somebody's going to get added sometime, whether it's Survivor Series or down the road. Why not? Why not sign me up? Paul Heyman, he just does these kinds of things, right? Ultimately, Paul Heyman is, at the end of the day, he's kind of slimy. He might be great. He might be the greatest of all time, but he's still slimy.
You know what would happen if this happened? My little heart would break. if Paul Heyman, if the wise man turned on not only Roman, but he'd be turning on CM Punk at that point. I mean, both of his guys. It would be absolutely incredible. It would, this major plan would unfold a Bloodline 2.0 of these fake attacks because they attacked Jimmy and put him out. They attacked Paul and put him out. So you would assume that obviously Paul and Jimmy hate them, right? But if we figure out that, oh no, it was all part of the plan and now OG Bloodline has nothing again and all this stuff, I mean, that would just be, we'd go back to inning 2. Paul Heyman always says baseball innings in terms of Bloodline, we go from inning 8 to inning 2, just like that, right back at square one almost. And it would lead us into a new generation of Bloodline that I can't foresee what would happen.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed you didn't laugh at my Roman Reigns Tongaloa.
I didn't want to give you the time of day.
Somebody in the comments is going to laugh, and somebody's going to be like, that was good, and I'll say thank you.
And then that someone's going to look in the mirror and go, did I really laugh at that? That's just not good.
But you did, so thank you. Yeah, I mean, I see some people, it's a very small minority of wrestling fans that are kind of upset with the storyline. They're just like, God, this just keeps dragging and dragging and dragging and dragging. I've seen that online a little bit. That's obviously not our take, but I have a feeling those people are going to be a little bit upset after Survivor Series because we're going to get some more life injected into this. Like you said, it's going to continue. This is not the end game right here. I think we both think kind of maybe this Mania would be kind of where we would want to end it, but who knows? Maybe they stretch it past that, but something's going to happen and it's going to be big.
Yeah. The Rock is also somewhere.
Maybe he's in cahoots with Jimmy and Paul,
We all think that he's the puppeteer, the puppet master of Bloodline 2.0, and eventually that has to come to fruition at some point. If you look at this just logically in terms of real life, I think that he is on a Moana 2 grind right now, so I don't think that he'll be booked for Survivor Series, but he is The Rock, and he can make things happen. He showed up at Bad Blood for seemingly no reason. Why not show up to Survivor Series and point to everybody again and do the throat thing? I don't know, but this Bloodline story is a long ways from being over, no matter what happens at Survivor Series. So it's going to be cinema no matter what, and I just cannot wait for it.
Yeah, maybe Solo stands tall at the end of it, and then he takes off it's a mask this whole time, and it's The Rock. Maybe that's what it is, Who knows?
His muscles start to just form.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn, Solo. Oh, man.
Yeah, why not? Something, or, it's something crazy, you know what I mean? Why not?
Anyway, those were our crazy-ass what-ifs for Survivor Series this weekend. I absolutely cannot wait. Big 4, PLE, and it leads us into a great time that leads up to Rumble, and then we got Mania after that. So we're starting the sprint of wrestling here, and winter and wrestling is always fun. So let us know in the comments what you guys thought about the what-ifs. Let us know if you got any what-ifs as well. We'd love to talk to you guys in the comments. So follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. If you want to come talk to us, like I said, comment on all of our stuff on all of our socials. We also have a Discord. It's in our link tree with all of our socials in our bio. Come talk to us. We will be talking during Survivor Series. And once again, Monday, first watch along for Raw. So be there on Twitch/COD WrestlePod. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.